Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlike, and today I'm doing my final discussion for Dragon Eclipse because I have officially finished the series. So this was a relatively long-running series. I mean, comparative to others, it was actually shorter, mainly due to just life events that caused me to sporadically upload. But after not that many games, that many sessions, I have finally finished it. I got one of the, I'm presuming 5 endings, and I'm happy to say that my initial thoughts on this game did not actually change by the end of this one. I really enjoyed my time with it. Dragon Eclipse is a perfect addition into a campaign-style game, mainly because it does a couple things right in comparison to a bunch of other campaigns that I've done. Similar to Fate Forge in that it is digestible. It is easy to set up, easy to tear down, and short enough that you can replay it and make different decisions and run different mistlings and have just a different experience overall. And these huge campaigns that I have, while amazing, will probably never ever get a replay just because they're just so long to do. So that's one of my biggest positives of Dragon Eclipse is the compactness, especially with Awakened Realms, and they're known for their extravagant campaigns. Tainted Grail, ISS Vanguard, those two specifically have so much content to them that there's like millions of boxes, and this is actually concise in one box. Well, there are a few more boxes, but it's more of the extra modes that you can play, which I haven't played yet. But pretty much everything fits into their base game box, and it's so easy to actually set up. I'm incredibly surprised because the way I've done it, you essentially have 2 books. You have 1 or 3. You have your exploration book, your adventure journal, which is you don't even really need all that much if you actually have the app, and then you have the combat book. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is just a few decks and, tons of different mistlings with their miniatures. And, the tokens are all concise and compact into their vacuum-sealed tray. So that really made me kind of want to keep coming back and playing it because it wasn't such a burden to actually play. It wasn't like, okay, I need to get this played, and, it's just going to take me an hour to set it up. Nope, it takes 20 minutes to set up, and then you're playing a game for about 3 to 4 hours. One scenario is not that short, so you get your time's worth whenever you're playing. But all that being said, I'd have to go back and officially count, but I think I did, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, so 16 cards here. And I know for a fact I didn't do 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't do 4 of the scenarios, I believe. So 12 total sessions. And this is actually, it's clearly designed to be solo. The 2-player edition, where you just have another mistling out on the map, does... it does have rules for it, and each combat does change a little bit, where it basically adds corruption cards. Very rarely did it ever come up that I had to add corruption for myself. It was always, if it was a 2-player game, just to make them more, harder. But other than that, the only reason I would ever play this too is just so I could share the story with another person. But I thought the story was very serviceable. I enjoyed the narrator whenever he wasn't messing up, and they kept that in. That's not even his fault. That's, Awakened Realms' fault for not proofreading or proof listening to their app. So he did a pretty good job. I enjoyed him. And the story I thought was pretty good. I was invested the entire time. I wanted to know what was happening, what was going on with this world, I would have liked a little bit more depth on the goings and comings, but because it's almost pretty obvious that it's Pokemon, that really helped a lot, where it's just, oh, these are the creatures, these are the animals that live in this world that we tame as tamers, and they can do specific jobs because of their abilities. I mean, enforced, animal labor laws do not exist. There's wild mistlings out there that you come across. Some are dangerous, so they're not really tameable. It was really a lot of Pokemon that was like the background of a lot of stuff, so I felt like I was comfortable in this world. And it was pretty compelling stuff between the Dragon Guardians and the Fae, where you pretty much pick which side you want to go with, and depending on how much information you have found and how much discovery and exploration you did, how successful you were on very specific things, how the mistlings you had with you to achieve certain goals, that unlocked more things on your status sheet, then that will actually change your ending. One thing that this game did that on the narrative side that I very much enjoy is it gave you epilogues. I've always enjoyed that for any type of movie or show or book or any type of media, where at the end of the story it kind of tells you what everyone else did, or what your decisions, how they impacted everything. That's always nice, because you don't want to feel like you have questions left that are unanswered. And there was a lot. It was a lot of checks at the end of like, do you have this? Yes. Do you have this? No. And they would read a blurb on, what happened. So, because there was a bunch of stuff throughout this entire series that I just did not have, or I had a little bit of. And that's always exciting, because like Fate Forge, this means I could come back and replay it and then try and go for those, or make different decisions, and it's easily done, instead of like, this took me 5 years to beat. I don't want to spend another 5 years just to make different decisions. And then the great thing about this game is I never felt that the combat got exhausting. Every time combat was presented once, I enjoyed it. Because almost every scenario was kind of like exploration, and then combat, and then back to exploration, and that was it. And I really liked that. That helped me just keep the flow of things going, because I even mentioned in one of the videos, I just hate when board games make me go and dig in the box for more shit. And that's partly because it's a recording thing. I like to keep the flow of everything going. But even when I'm not recording and I'm just playing, it's annoying to have to break immersion, especially in the narrative game. Break immersion, dig in the box for everything, set it up, and it's like, all right, now we can get back into it. I just would much prefer to know that, okay, we're going to have one combat, and then however long that takes, then we go back to exploration, and then it ends. Now, it didn't happen all that often, but whenever it sprung a combat on you, it's like, ugh, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to just spring, have a combat back to back. Didn't do it all that much, and even then, it was still relatively simple to set it up. Like, you just move the book off to the side, grab the map book or the play mat or whatever. It takes really no time at all. Unlike when it happened in Aeon Trespass Odyssey, when it's like, oh, surprise Temenos fight. It's like, okay, this is 30 minutes of setup. Like, fuck off. And I have no table space to actually do, so I have to either pick up all the pieces or put the battle board on top. Here, it is relatively quick to be able to set up for combat when it does surprise you. And then, just the way combat worked, every single mistling that I had, which I only tamed, officially tamed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. I officially tamed 8. And there's this entire encyclopedia thing of empty sheets of mistlings that I didn't get. So this ranges from, it says 3 to 4. I don't know if it actually officially starts at like any number, but it goes to, well, okay, so numbers actually don't matter. But so I tamed 8, and I saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17. So, and now a few of them were story driven, and I could not tame them, like specifically, just because the story didn't allow you to. But even then, the mistlings are really cool because they have their own unique deck, and every mistling that I played with, which actually wasn't that much, I stuck with a few pretty much the entire time, played completely different. And the way you're going to deck build with them is completely different. I actually am surprised that the campaign ended when it did, because I have 3 packs left to open. So I thought that, the game was going to go until you had no more cards. And speaking of which, quick side note, the opening packs thing, I could take it or leave it. I really, don't, it's kind of neat, it's gimmicky, but at the end of the day, I would have just, I much preferred the achievement thing where, depending on your fatigue, you just drew so many cards, got to look at them and pick which ones you want. But even then, the amount of cards that you get for each color there are enough of them to give you a different way to actually deck build. And the fact that you only have 16 cards in your mistling deck makes it way manageable to deck construct. Because that's something that either you love it or you hate it. And I mean, well, I was gonna say I'm kind of in the middle, but if I just really don't prefer deck construction anymore. But here I actually kind of enjoyed it because it was only 16 cards, and they had kind of stipulations. Hey, you have to have this many of your mistling's element. You can only have 1 legendary in there, so it made it very digestible to actually deck construct. And depending on how your mistling's original cards are, like what comes with them, that's going to kind of skew you in a type of build for them. So that's really cool. There's still a ton of cards that I did not use, and different mistling types that I didn't use. I used like a Earth one, maybe once, the Golemo, and then I kind of just stuck with my young Emberling, and then just kind of the Furwing I stuck with pretty much the entire time. And then I just stuck with the Dark Talon. So it was pretty much Young Emberling, Furwing, and Dark Talon that I kept. And then the very end, it was like, hey, a water mistling will be helpful. No, it wasn't. It wasn't in anything I came across. But what's also really neat about the mistlings is they all have combat or story quests, which will change kind of how they do it. Not much, honestly. That's kind of disappointing in the fact that if you do work really hard to try and get something done, or you happen to come across it, it's like, oh, awesome, it's going to evolve, or it's going to do something, and it's like, it gets 1 more attack. At least the Dark Talon. The Dark Talon ones that I found was kind of just 1 more attack, and that was kind of lame. It was Exalted, which is, instead of Evolved. The, not the Pulpin, that's what it's called now, but the, whatever it was called, the mean water one, that Furple. The Furple had kind of a little story element to it, where you kind of got to decide which way you wanted it to go, and that's really neat. The Young Emberling needed the Ember status, which I never got, so I thought that was going to happen naturally, so it never evolved. So that's really neat. Every single mistling that's in this game has either a combat quest, which the Furwing had, which is very difficult to do, at least the way I built, or a story quest. So that's awesome. And then, for those of you that are kind of like, oh, well, I just kind of want to be able to do the story quest, but I don't want to have to play the whole campaign again to get it done. What's actually fantastic is that once you finish a scenario, it goes to its explored side, and that adds like a Z script you can go to. Before one scenario, you can go back to another location, and it has nothing, you don't set up for it or anything, it's all in the storybook, and that's where you can either go and spend money, get more gear, which I found out by the end of this campaign, so it didn't matter, or you can do random combat, which would allow you to actually refight, not even refight, come across previous mistlings that you didn't even, that maybe you lost against or you weren't quite able to tame. It gets added into a tier deck, and you just draw one of those, and that's where the essence comes in. So if I'm like, oh dang it, I couldn't train that whatever, that siren that I came across. Well, if I drew this one, I could just spend 3 essence and you just tame it, and now you have that in your party for mistlings you can use. So that's awesome, because it would be annoying if you were really trying to tame something and it's like, well, like I tried as much as I could, but I guess I chose to win instead of lose, so I guess I didn't tame it. Well, play again. Nope, just go, do a Z script area, draw from it, maybe you'll get it, spend essence, because that's all the essence is ever really used for, and now you have it. The other side of that is for the story elements, the story quests for your mistlings. You can actually go back to those locations, and it's like, hey, if you have the Furple with you, then you can now do its story quest. So personally, I like the idea of replaying the campaign, making different decisions, because that way you earn it. But I love that they added in the fact that you could just, if you miss an opportunity or miss something because you didn't bring the right mistling with you when you went to the scenario and you're like, well, I didn't know I needed that, you have a chance to do it again. And I think that's just amazing to add. So, I mean, I don't even know how many mistlings there are in total. I mean, this tier deck, I think, is all completely unique mistlings. It's looking like they are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. 38. And then I have some in the random encounter area. 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. So 44 unique mistlings. Now, what that means, I mean, that probably just means, like, some of them, it's like, oh, the young Emberling now evolves or exalts into the Emberling, or something like that. So, but they're still different, and they all have their own unique cards, and I think that's just awesome, because it really captures that Pokemon feel in a board game. And, I mean, I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan, like, in terms of the video games anymore, but I've always loved the idea of going back, because, I mean, I'm a Gen 1 Pokemon guy, maybe a little bit of Gen 2, but it's like, oh, who's your favorite Pokemon? Well, it's Alakazam. For Psychic, for Water, it's this, if I was a gym leader, this is the gym, the gym that I would run. And you kind of get to do that here. You get to be like, oh, I really like the way that the dark mistlings work, so I'm just going to run with them. And you have, strengths and weaknesses against different other element types. They did a really good job of capturing that feel. And yeah, I think, in terms of negatives, now this is it's more of a moral area. I don't know this for sure. I have heard that Awakened Realms used AI art for this game. I have no idea if that's true. I've done no research on it myself. And I think that's kind of just a question you have to ask if you care about or not. Again, this is what I have been told, so that's a negative if true. I think that AI art is, especially with how Awakened Realms, how much money they bring in, pay fucking artists to do it. If they didn't do that, or they used AI as I think AI art, I know this is a whole other thing, but in terms of this game, I think AI art is good for, coming up with ideas, but not for straight up just being like, and make me a thunder dragon, creature. Okay, here we go. Let's sell this game for $200. That would just be fucking dog shit. Anyway, so that's a potential negative if that's exactly what they did. Other than that, there really isn't many negatives for it. Like, there's a ton of secrets that I never got to look at. One thing that also never came up, which I'm surprised, was there are these locked cards that are behind this locked deck. I don't even know how you get those. There's these locked artifacts that never came up, so don't know how you get those. Maybe I just made horrible decisions. But yeah, like, that's super exciting. It's not even a negative on... I mean, I thought the tests in the game were very clean. Like, everything was just so streamlined that just made it fun to play through. Even the puzzle that I came across was actually fun to solve because it wasn't, stupidly, like, with left field puzzle stuff. I think they might have made equipment and items sparse, but then again, I was holding on to money thinking it could only be done in story exploration scenes, but you can actually, going back to previous locations, you can spend money. Which I guess the one I happened to go to just didn't really have anything for me to do, so I assumed they were all like that. It was just, oh, okay, pick a tier card and spend essence to get a Pokemon, a mistling. Nope, that wasn't the case. So that might have just been my bad for never really going back on certain locations. Yeah, now, so what's next for Dragon Eclipse? Well, there is actually an expansion, which is very cool. Foray into the Shadow Realm, which now makes sense. I was going to do this as part of the actual, as part of the actual series, but you have to finish the base game to play. So that's there. So let me know if you actually want to see the expansion, Foray into the Shadow Realm. It seems like it's a lot shorter, but it's a decent enough box. And then they have 2 more modes in the game. They have, well, I don't know where the rulebook. So they have a PvP mode, which the plan was to get, was my buddy Keith also has this game. I was hoping he was going to keep up with it so we can just pick a mistling that we've been running with and do a PvP. But that exists. But then there's also this roguelite mode. Oh, that's where artifacts come in. I see it now. So I think I will do a video on the roguelite mode. I'm very interested to see how that actually plays, because this game almost doesn't seem like it should have a roguelite. And that's pretty much it. Those are the 2 options. So expect a roguelite video and a discussion after this. But I know that they have the Foray into the Shadow Realm expansion, and then they have one more that is coming out that they announced. It is called something about a tournament. Dragon Eclipse. Is it the Grand Quest? Oh, it is. The Grand standalone sequel to Dragon Eclipse with tactical combat and story-driven play. Return to the world of Dragon Eclipse in this thrilling standalone sequel that takes you centuries into the past before the eclipse. Step back in time to an era of peace and honor where tamers strive to prove themselves in the legendary grand tournament. So I'm assuming it's just going to be like another big box like this. Hopefully that's backwards compatible with the mistlings and stuff. So that's definitely something to keep an eye out for. Very excited for that. But yeah, overall, if you like narrative-driven campaign games, this one definitely feels completely unique. It's concise, it's manageable. You can play it 2 players, which some people might not like, but I pretty much only play my campaign games solo or 2-player anyway. So with a very smooth, fun, intuitive campaign combat system, and engaging story. I liked it. Is it the most, like, the best writing I've ever seen in a board game? No, but I have done a lot of these campaign games, and the writing for a lot of them is not great. Like, it's very special whenever you get really good writers, and I mean, Awakened Realms has them. So, like, yeah, it's definitely one to check out, I think. With that being said, on a scale of 1 to 10, after the campaign is done, I'm giving Dragon Eclipse a 9. I really liked it. Like, it checks a lot of boxes for me. If that, I mean, say what you will, if the AI art thing does happen to be true, where they just rip something straight, like everything is completely ripped from AI, that's shitty. But the art's still good. Like, I still like it. I still like looking at it. I love the design of all the mistlings. I will say I would like to see, like, a lot of the bosses, which is called Dragon Eclipse, so that makes sense. A lot of the final bosses ended up being dragons, and which makes sense. It's called Dragon Eclipse. You expect them to be some variation of dragon, and they all looked awesome. And even the bosses and stuff all played different. Like, I never felt like, oh, this is pretty much just like that one. But it would have been nice to see, you know, some variety in the like the actual big enemies. But yeah. Anyway, that's it, everyone. That's my thoughts on Dragon Eclipse. Let me know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.